today's guest is Nicholas MITSAKOS, the chairman of the board of directors for Nayna International. Nicholas co-founded 9 companies that achieved successful IPOs or acquisitions and has a unique view on social entrepreneurship. Please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. So Nick, can you tell us a little bit more about how you're involved with the community?
Well, I want to make a general observation, and I'll tell a story about this heated debate when I was in business school at Harvard, where people were saying, who has a stake in the company? So the question was, should companies be run for the benefit solely of its shareholders, its owners? And so there was debate about, well, you have employees, you have a community that you're part of, don't they have a stake in your business? And so the debate was back and forth. You had people thinking, well, if you've got someone who's been an employee for 30 years, doesn't he have a stake in your company as well? And should you treat him with that kind of perspective? And of course, now to answer your question, my feeling is they shouldn't be exclusive. That if you have a company run for the benefit of its owners, the way to optimize the value is to think about everyone else that has a stake in your company. I mean, if you treat employees like they're just machines that are fungible, that's kind of the result you're going to get. And, my example here is think of the difference if you rent a home versus own a home. So if you feel like you're only going to be there temporarily, how do you treat it? If you own it, how do you treat it? And you may live in that home for the same period of time, but there's a higher quality and greater sense of satisfaction out of the ownership. Well, it's true with employees that if people feel that they have an ownership stake, you treat them like they do, and you treat them well, and you sort of I call it you stay ahead of the satisfaction curve. So I know you're doing a good job for me. I know you're working hard. Do I have to wait until you ask for a raise to think about giving you one? Do I have to wait to think about health benefits before I give them to you? I mean, eventually it's going to happen. I mean, how naive do you need to be? And so if you run a company based solely on costs, there's always a place in the world where you can get cheaper costs, and there are businesses that are run that way. I don't want to participate in those businesses, so I'm not informed enough maybe to speak about how to handle those businesses. But I think many businesses think that they're cost-based when they might not be. And here's a good example, I think, in the automotive industry. So if you go back through history, why is there an acrimonious relationship between workers and companies in the United States? And I think the answer is because they get what they deserve. So workers were treated very poorly in the 20s and 30s, as you probably know. And they reacted with the unions, and it became very acrimonious. And now they're so structured and there's so little communication that they're too expensive, too unwieldy, and they're getting their lunch eaten by other companies that treat people differently. And I think that when it comes to a community, the community really matters. You get support from your community. You get help from the community. It keeps a company going. Hawaii Biotech is a great example. So I think one of the assets that we have is the culture here in Hawaii, that people support each other. The community supports us. We're proud to be part of the community. And I love to tell this one story. I showed up for a meeting at Hawaiian Telecom. I was going to meet the CEO of Hawaiian Telecom just to chat a little bit. And the security guard comes to me and says, "We love the work you're doing at Hawaii Biotech." And that has such a great impact even on me.
How did you even know that you were at Hawaii Biotech?
It came with the note that I was coming to the company, and he knew about the company, he knew about the work we're trying to do, and that has such a positive impact. And you go back, you tell the people about this, and you get harder work, you get better work. You get support for many of the dimensions that are unpredictable. We need to have a facility somewhere. We need to have access. We need to have a source for employees. We need to have a lot of things that a community can really provide.
Well, you know what? We've got a lot more to talk about in our after show. So we want to thank Nicholas MITSAKOS for joining us today on Greater Good Radio Hawaii. We definitely appreciate all your stories, and your experiences is just second to none. We hope that you'll come back and share that with us again. For listeners out there, please join us for the after show portion where Nicholas MITSAKOS shares with us more insight into taking companies public and what it takes to become a venture capitalist. If you're interested in Nicholas's secrets and the inside story of many other successful entrepreneurs, please go to greatergoodradio.com and listen to the after shows. This is Evan Leong and Carrie Leong saying please join us next time for another episode of Greater Good Radio Hawaii.